皆さん、こんにちは。こんにちは。日本語の教室のサムです。日本語の教室のサムです。また、よろしくお願いします。よろしくお願いします。今日は第6回の日本語の教室です。第6回の教室です。第6回。6回目。6回目。第6回。今日は第6回の教室です。第6、1、2、3、4、6、1、2、3、4、6、第6回目の教室です。じゃあ、早速スタートしましょう。スタートしましょう。その前に、ちょっと、うちの写真を見せたかったんで、ちょっと、ご紹介します。ご紹介します。I'm going to tell you about my picture. ご紹介します。写真の紹介しましょう。真ん中の子供は誰でしょうか？真ん中の子供は真ん中の子供。これは真ん中の子供。真ん中の子供は誰でしょうか？先生です。先生です。左側の若い女性はうちの祖母です。うちの祖母。That's my grandmother on the left. 祖母。うちの祖母。When I'm referring to my own grandmother, I call her a 祖母。if I'm referring to somebody else's grandmother or some elderly lady on the street, I'd say おばあさん。おばあさん。おばあさん。But when I'm being humble, I say 祖母。うちの祖母。そして右側はうちの母です。それは母です。お母さん。I would call her directly お母さん。This is my mother. お母さんです。美人でしょうね。I'm saying she's a beautiful lady. It's not too becoming to talk about your own mother as being beautiful in Japanese. They tend to be humble. But I love this picture. 母の膝の上に、あれは妹です。妹です。That's my sister. じゃあ、その4人は、大昔の、私の、家族なんです。じゃあ、それからスタート。今回はちょっと挨拶に関する話をしたいと思います。挨拶、挨拶、あ、い、さ、つ、挨拶。So, 挨拶 are standard greetings. They're very set expressions. But at the beginning of a meeting, you might have a keynote speaker that will also give you an 挨拶. So it's a very formal type of ceremony in Japan. As part of the 挨拶, people do 自己紹介. You may recall in lesson 1, 第1回の教室、1回目の教室、lesson 1、第1課。In lesson 1, I did a 自己紹介。I introduced myself. So we're going to just talk about some set expressions for saying hello or whatnot. Okay. In the morning, what do you say? I think many of you know these greetings already. These are very simple 挨拶. Very standard 挨拶. In the morning, you say おはようございます。おはようございます。おはようございます。もう一度やりましょう。朝の早いうちに、ちょっとその美しい日の出を見てください。なかなかいい絵なんですね。It's not a bad picture, is it? Okay. Ohayo gozaimasu. Ohayo gozaimasu. Minasan, ohayo gozaimasu. Ohayo gozaimasu. O, ha, I, ohayo, go, za, I, ma, su. Okay, so that's how you write ohayo gozaimasu. For the ha, yo part, a kanji can be substituted there, but typically it's not used. Once again, with word processors, it's becoming more popular. The kanji that they put in there means early. So this just literally means it's early. We could say hayai desu. Hayai desu. Desu is the polite way to say is. Gozaimasu is the ultra polite way to say is. Gozaimasu is what is known as keigo. Keigo. Des is teinego. Just teine means to be polite. Keigo means to respect that person above you. Okay? And hayai is early. Hayai. Hayo. Hayo. Ohayo gozaimasu. Ohayo gozaimasu. Minasan, ohayo gozaimasu. Mata yoroshiku onegai shimasu. Okay? This is the daytime. Actually, here right now, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So at this point in the afternoon, what would I say to you? Ko, ni, chi, wa. Konnichiwa, konnichiwa. Kyou wa gogo no yoji desu. Yoji desu. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1時、2時、3時、4時. It's not 4時, it's not 4時, it's 4時. 今は午後の4時です. Gogo means PM. 今は午後の4時です. 午後の4時の時に、こんにちはという挨拶を使います。こんにちはという挨拶を使います。At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we use the 挨拶, which is called こんにちは。こんにちは。こんにちは。And the cute picture of Hello Kitty, who of course was made famous in Japan. And here is the evening time. What is your 挨拶 in the evening? Ko, ba, wa. こんばんは。こんばんは。こんばんは。Hopefully you all have your notebooks ready and you're writing these in romaji. Romaji. You don't need to take the time to write the hiragana. You can do that later as part of your homework. Okay? During the course, you want to be listening to me, so it's easiest for you to write in romaji, and it's easiest for you to remember. Konbanwa. Konbanwa. We don't say konbanwa. We don't say konbanwa. We say konbanwa. Konbanwa. Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. Both of those have kon. And as I told you before, kon means this. Ohayo gozaimasu. Konnichiwa. Konbanwa. So during the day, you're going to use one of these 3 aisatsu. Okay? And what about when you're getting ready to say goodbye to each other? Everybody knows this one, I'm sure. Sa, yo, u, na, ra. Sayonara, sayonara, sayonara. Now, sayonara is an interesting one. Many people say that you don't use sayonara on a day-to-day basis. I found that in the workplace, when I'm getting ready to go home for the night, we did say sayonara. It's not unused, but you need to be a little bit careful about using sayonara. Many young people will just say jane, 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 because it's so difficult. Get out of here. Get. A monkey just came into my room. We have a monkey problem here. Monkey. I should have let him come in to say hello to you, but he scares me a little bit. Saru. I'm going to go close my other window too. Just a second. He's actually quite... Oh. He's actually quite cute, but he scares me. So monkey in Japanese is saru. Saru. Okay. I could start recording again, but I got such a good start going that I'm going to leave it this way. So, sayonara, sayonara. Young people will say ja ne. Ja is just a hesitation. Ja. Ja, do deshou ne. Ja. Ja, doshio. Ja, doshio. What should I do? Ja, doshio ka. Ja, ja. Ja. Ja ne. Ne is just like right. It's like, oh my God, we've got to leave. It's difficult to leave each other, so you just say ja ne. It's become such a standard stock phrase. It's all the cute girls will use it especially. Ja ne. Ja, sore de wa shitsurei shimasu. Shitsurei shimasu. Now there's a very formal way of saying goodbye. Shitsurei shimasu means I'm going to commit a rudeness. I'm going to commit a rudeness. I'm going to be rude. Shitsurei means rude. Shitsurei, shitsurei, S-H-I-T-S-U-R-E-I. Shitsurei shimasu. Shitsurei shimasu. Shitsurei shimasu. Shitsurei shimasu. I thought I had turned off my internet. Okay. Just wait while I turn my internet off. I don't want it on today. Oh, it's not? Why did it do that? Oh, we're having all sorts of interruptions, but that way it can be a spontaneous class, and that's how I like it. I hope it doesn't bother you too much. Okay, so shitsurei shimasu. Very formal way to say goodbye. It's not all that formal. I would often say that. Ja, sore de wa shitsurei shimasu. But afterwards I might say sayonara, sayonara. Mata ne. Ja, mata, mata aimashou. Mata. I often say that to you at the end. Mata aimashou. Jikkai, next time. Jikkai aimashou. Of course, the time is so uncertain. I don't know when you're going to connect with me. You don't know when I'm going to connect with you, etc. Maybe someday we can do a live broadcast. Okay, so the final aisatsu that I'm going to talk about today is oyasumi nasai, oyasumi nasai, oyasumi nasai. Whoops. There's been a misprint in my slideshow. This is getting a bit too oyasumi nasai. Oyasumi nasai. Oyasumi nasai. Good night. Oyasumi nasai. Oyasumi nasai. Ohayou gozaimasu. Konnichiwa. Konbanwa. Sayonara. 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 Oyasumi nasai. Oyasumi nasai. Now, since I never had a Japanese mother, I'm not sure if that's what a Japanese mother says to her children, but that's certainly a common aisatsu. I don't know. It's not a greeting, is it? It's a goodbye. It's a farewell. Okay, enough of that. Go on to the next slide. Oh, we have more aisatsu. Hajimemashite. Hajimemashite. Okay, hajimemashite is a common thing that you say to each other when you're meeting for the first time. It's only used the first time. Hajimemashite. Hajimemashite. Kore kara yoroshiku onegai shimasu. Hajimemashite. Sam desu. Iroiro お世話になると思いますので、よろしくお願いします。I don't know. I think I've started doing this since I've been in India. I'm at an ashram and we do this all the time. I don't think in Japan they do this. They would do more bowing. Men from the waist. The men hold their hands down to their sides. So I'll stand up for you. I have no idea how this is going to look on camera. Anyhow, the men will do like this, and the women will do like this. They put their hands over their private parts. I hate to be so crude, but that seems to be what it looks like. Okay? And men hold their nice and stiff and bow from the waist. And the degree of bow depends on how much you respect. And I know that 30 years ago, they were talking about how the department stores gave bowing lessons to their employees. I don't know if that's still true. Anyway, the first time you meet each other, hajime mashite, hajime mashite, hajime mashite, hajime mashite. And here you see two businessmen exchanging business cards. There's a whole etiquette to the exchange of business cards, and you probably have some knowledge of that. Here is some lessons on how to pass your business card to the other person. You hold the business card so that it looks like it's right side up from their angle. From your angle, it's upside down, but facing them, it's right side up. They will take the card from you with two hands. Now, there may be a little bit of a fight to figure out who's going to give who first. Usually, when there's a business meeting, the senior people will exchange business cards first. And while the senior people are exchanging business cards, the juniors will start to exchange business cards with each other. And then once the exchange between the seniors is complete, then each of the juniors from the opposing side will go around and present the business cards. Japan is still very formal in their business operations, and suits like you see here are very much in style. And then, dozo, yoroshiku onegai shimasu. So, this is also something that you say, dozo, yoroshiku onegai shimasu. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. Dozo. Dozo is here you are. I'm not sure in this expression exactly what the dozo implies. It's just a set expression. Dozo, yoroshiku onegai shimasu. Hajimemashite, dozo, yoroshiku onegai shimasu. That would be the shortest type of introduction that you would make. Very formal. Okay, and this is thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu. Arigatou gozaimasu. Arigatou gozaimasu. I thought I corrected this. Arigatou. There's a u in there. Arigatou gozaimasu. Okay, it looks like I may have to do this show over again. Arigatou gozaimasu. And your answer to that is do itashimashite. Do itashimashite. And I can't teach a Japanese class without telling you the mnemonic for remembering how to say do itashimashite. It's don't touch my mustache. Do itashimashite sounds like don't touch my mustache in English. Do itashimashite. Do itashimashite. You're welcome. You're welcome. Arigatou gozaimasu. Do itashimashite. Okay, I believe that's it for Aisatsu. The next topic is Japan. We're going to learn today kore. Kore wa Nihon desu. Kore wa Nihon desu. This is Japan. Kore. Kore means this. Kore wa is the topic marker. It's just when you're saying you're introducing something for the very first time, you'll always use a wa. Kore wa. As for this, whatever you're seeing here, kore wa Nihon desu. Nihon desu. Kore wa Nihon desu. Nihon de wa, 4つの島があります。4つの島があります。日本は島国です。日本は島国です。Japan is an island country. Shima is island. Japan is an island country. It has 4 islands. 4つの島があります。4つの島があります。We may get to that sentence structure today, too. I plan to introduce 2 sentence structures, and we'll spend several days drilling these sentence structures. So the 4 islands are, as you see here, Hokkaido in the north. Note the 2 Ks. It's not Hokkaido, it's Hokkaido. Hokkaido. And it literally means the northern circuit. The northern circuit. Back in the old days, before the automobile, before the train, the rulers would make a circuit of their country on horseback or on foot or however they could get around. So there's several circuits. The only one that's remaining in Japan is Hokkaido. Hokkaido. So Japan has 46 prefectures, but Hokkaido is not one of the prefectures. It's a do, or is it a kaido? Hokkaido. Hokku means north. Hokku. Hokku means north. Hokkaido. And then the main island is Honshu. Honshu. Honshu literally means the mainland. It's where most of the activities are. Tokyo is in this area here. This is Tokyo Bay. This is the Chiba Peninsula, and this is the Izu Peninsula. Yokohama's about here, and Tokyo is in this area here. Tokyo Bay. Yokohama and Tokyo form the largest metropolitan area in the world. Okay. Mount Fuji is in this area here, and there's a divide between eastern Japan, which is called Kanto, and western Japan, Kansai. So most of the people, most of the cities are on the island of Honshu. And then this small island is Shikoku. Shikoku, it's called Shikoku. Shi means 4. Koku means countries. Shikoku, because on Shikoku there are 4 prefectures. And it's a fairly small island. There's a very famous pilgrimage that people take on Shikoku. I don't remember how many temples there are, but people make a circuit of all the temples, and it's a long pilgrimage that people make. Shikoku. Kyushu is the most southern island. Of course, way south of here, off the map, is Okinawa. Okinawans don't consider themselves to be Japanese. They consider the Japanese to be occupiers. Although they're not very concerned about their Japanese occupiers, because there's a much larger occupation force still present on Okinawa, which are the American forces. There's all sorts of skirmishes between the Americans and the people of Okinawa. Okay. So this is the main part of Japan. There's many islands, but 4 main islands. これは日本です。これは日本です。So once again, これは means this. これは日本です。これは時計です。これはマウスです。これはコップです。これはコップです。これは瓶です。これは瓶です。これは缶だと思うんですが、缶? I think it's 缶. Kanbiru, kankohi. Kankohi is a very interesting phenomenon in Japan. Later I'll dig up my picture of a Japanese vending machine with canned coffee in it. They actually heat the coffee. Kankohi, kankohi. Okay. これは日本です。日本です。日本は島国です。島国。島は4つがあります。4つ。1つ、2つ、3つ、4つ。So the native Japanese words are used to count things that are kind of an unidentified shape. An island's a big thing. There may be a measure word for island, but the Japanese way of counting is kind of a carry-all for anything that you're not really sure what to call. So, 4つの島があります。4つの島があります。島4つがあります。4つの島、島4つ. So there's two ways to say there are 4 islands in Japan. Shimaguni, an island country. この島は北海道です。これは北海道です。So I say これは北海道です。But この島, we'd say this island in English, or we'd say this. So for English, both the this that modifies a noun and the this that stands alone are the same word. In Japanese, there's 2 distinct words. Kore is for the this that stands alone, and kono is for a word that modifies another word. Konoshima. Konoshima wa Hokkaido desu. Konoshima wa Honshu desu. Konoshima wa Shikoku desu. Konoshima wa Kyushu desu. これは北海道です。これは本州です。これは四国です。これは九州です。これは日本です。これは日本の地図です。これは日本の地図です。地図 means map. これは日本の地図です。4つ。What do I have? 4つ。島は4つがあります。島は4つがあります。島4つがあります。島は4つがあります。これは北海道です。これは本州です。これは四国です。これは九州です。So I just thought you'd like to see how these words are written in Japanese. They all use kanji. You've already seen the word for, and you may remember koku for chugoku. This is shikoku, so after the E sound, the K remains a hard K. But after the U sound, it becomes a soft G. Because shi is shikoku, shi chugoku, chikoku. I guess from an E position in your mouth, it's easier to get to the K sound. The U is farther back in your mouth, so you got a G sound. I'm not sure what the scientific explanation for these sound changes are, but they do exist. Hokkaido. Hokku means north. Hokku. Kai means sea. Do means circuit. Honshu. Hon is the same hon as in Nihon. And as I told you, it means origin, or in this case, the main thing, or the origin of the sun. This is the Honshu. This is where everything originated. This was the mainland of China. The rest were just outlying areas. Okay. And this is Nihonkai. Nihonkai. This is the Sea of Japan. Nihonkai. You see Kai, Hokkaido. Hokkaido. Kai is the onyomi. Kai is the onyomi. Umi is the kunyomi. Umi is the kunyomi. So, Kino umi no hou e ikimashita. Umiを行って泳ぎました。海が好きですね。この海はここのすぐ近くにあります。海。Umi means sea or ocean. Okay, umi. So the Japanese word is used when you're just talking about that particular thing. When it becomes a name, it becomes kai, the Chinese pronunciation. So this is Nihon Kai, Hokkaido, Honshu, Shikoku, Kyushu. And I'm not quite sure why Kyushu is called Kyushu. A shu, you see it looks like a kawa. Remember kawa with the three lines, the three vertical lines was kawa. Kawaguchi. Kawaguchi is a very common Japanese family name, Kawaguchi. Okay. Kawa, Kawasaki. You also have Kawasaki. Maybe I'll write Kawasaki for you in the future, but the same kawa. Kawasaki, I think means marshland near the river. Kawasaki. This has 3 islands in it, so it's more like a land mass, and it's used to represent states as well in India and in the United States. I believe that's the thing that's used for states. There is another one that has, it's a little bit different with 3 drops of water next to it, but I'm pretty sure that this one is the one that's used for states. Okay. これは日本の国旗です。これは日本の国旗です。日本の国旗。国旗. Here's another example of a word that when it's 2 words together, koku and ki. Koku, of course, is Shikoku, Hokkaido. Oh, no, not Hokkaido. Shikoku, Chugoku. And then we have kokki, the national flag. So flag, when it's in combination with other Chinese letters, becomes ki. When it's all alone, it becomes hata. これは日本の旗です. But because the flag is something worthy of respect, they're going to use a more formal word for it. Kokki, the national flag of Japan. 日本の国旗です. これは日本の国旗です. これは日本の国旗です. 国旗. これは日本の国旗です. So, it looks horrible, doesn't it? It looks difficult. How can I just go, これは日本の国旗です. I say it so fast. これは日本の国旗です. 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 And then when I just, this is 1 second per letter. これは日本の国旗です. これは日本の国旗です. This is the flag of Japan. これ. That means this. これは日本の国旗です. What is this one? Are you learning your hiragana? Hopefully you're learning your hiragana. Remember from the last lesson, I told you that I've been writing that hiragana incorrectly, but that I was relieved to find that Wikipedia said that it was an alternative form that's actually used very commonly in Japan. That is so. これ、それ。これ、それ. So, これ are things that are near me, and それ, from my perspective, are things that are near you. これ and それ. これ、それ. これ、それ. And then we have a third word, which from learning Sanskrit and a little bit of Malayalam, I know that you also have a third word, means the same thing. In Malayalam, the ah sound, I think, is for things that are close to you. But are are for things that are far away from the both of us. Over there, those things over there. Are, are. And that's also like say, huh? What? Oh, are? It's like a exclamation in Japanese as well. I don't know if it's related, but I think it is. Are, are, kore, sore, are. Okay? And then finally, you have the question word. Which one? And this question word is not used so frequently. The question word meaning what is used more frequently than this one. But there's a definite pattern to these indicative pronouns, pronouns which indicate something else. There's kore means this, sore means that, are means that over there, and dore means which one. Dore, 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 dore. You might say that if I say, for example, これはペンです。これはペンです。And you might say, どれ？これは私のペンです。これは私のペンです。You might say, どれ? Because I have two pens in my hands. By the way, I've told you that there is no plural in Japanese. One pen and two pens. In English, we put an S. They're both pen in Japanese. But I could say これら. And that means these pens. これら. これらのpen. 私のpenです. If I say これらのpen, then you won't ask me どれ. You'll know that both of them are mine. If I say これらのpen. We're not always so specific, however. So you might say どれ. どれは先生のpenですか? どれ. Okay. So we'll be going over this. I've seen it on the internet. These are called koso-a-do words because there's several other words. It's the same pattern. They all have koso-a-do. So I just said konoshima in the last slide. We talked about this word, one's modifying a noun. That's kono. Instead of a de, we have no. Kono, sono, ano, and dono. So I won't be going through this again. So, I mean, you'll see it a lot, and hopefully you'll remember the explanation. But basically, you've been warned that there are different ways to say these words. Okay, so we come to our first sentence pattern. Now we're getting into the formal section of the class. A wa B desu. A is B. A is B. And of course, the wa does not mean is. This is the Japanese sentence order. A wa says, as for A, B desu. B is. As for A, B is. So I would say, Toke wa orenjiro desu. Orenjiro desu. Orenjiro. Orange. Orenjiro. Iro means color. Orenjiro. So, we didn't talk about the colors of the Japanese flag. I think I have to back up to the next slide. Anyway, これは時計です。時計はオレンジです。オレンジ色です。オレンジ色. Colors are a little bit complicated in Japanese. It seems everything is complicated in Japanese. 日本語の教室も上に書いてありますが、日本語の教室もオレンジ色です。オレンジ色です。オレンジ。これはオレンジです。これは緑です。緑。これは覚えてますか? Do you remember? 覚えてますか? これは何色ですか? これは青です。青色。青色。青色。青。青です。青。青色です。これはオレンジ色。これは緑。緑です。緑色。I don't think midori. Midori is a fairly new word. Sometimes they'll use the word blue, to refer to something that we call green. So it's not so clear. I think midori is a fairly new word. I'm not sure where it comes from. I'll have to investigate that. これは何色ですか? これは何色ですか? これは赤です。赤. Remember akka? I introduced the K sound using akka. Okay? 国旗の色は何ですか? 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 What is the color of the national flag? What is the color of the national flag? So now you can say a fairly complex sentence. It's not all that complex at all. You just have to remember that national flag is kokki. Kokki no iro. The color of the kokki. Wa. As for the color of the kokki, what is it? What is it? Kotae wa nan desu ka? Kotae wa nan desu ka? 次のページ。ここでしたか。答えは白と赤。白と赤。白と赤。白と赤です。So, you could repeat to be very, very polite. 日本の国旗の色は白と赤です。Or you can just simply say 白と赤です。白と赤です。And と, of course, there's another particle for you to put down on your particles list. It's not a long list, 9, 10, 11, 12. Depends on what you call a particle. Actually, this probably technically is not a particle. In English, we call it what do we call and? A conjunctive? Conjunction. There's a word for it, for putting two things together. Anyway, this is and in Japanese is to. Okay. Now, nothing matches completely when you're talking about two languages. So there's other ways to say and in Japanese. Okay. Anyway, 日本の国旗は白と赤です。Okay, and another name for the Japanese flag is Hinomaru. Hinomaru. I didn't write this expression down. It will come up again because the Japanese love their flags, and one of these days I'll show you a photograph of a Hinomaru bento. Hinomaru bento. I'm not going to tell you today what a Hinomaru bento is. It's something for you to learn later. Hinomaru. これは日です。これは日です。So he is one way to say sun. So that's the he is the kunyomi, he. But he is not very popular for sun. He also means fire. And it's a totally different kanji for writing he. But in this case, it's hinomaru. He's a fairly old expression. There's another expression for the sun, which is taiyo. Taiyo. And that's directly from China. Hinomaru. Maru is anything that's round. Marui. And this is another word that we'll spend some time. It's an important concept in Japanese. The maru. Hinomaru. So the nickname of the Japanese flag is called the Hinomaru. 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 Okay. Okay. Now we're at our classroom. We're at our classroom. 私たちの教室です。これは私たちの教室です。私 is I. Look at the complicated way to write I. 私. 私たち makes it plural. 私たちの教室です。教室。これは私たちの日本語の教室。これは椅子です。椅子は非常に小さいですね。 これは私たちの教室ですか？私たちは全員がごめん大人じゃないか。私たちは大人です。大人。大人。大人。adults. We are all adults. そんな小さいな、この小さいな椅子に座ることができるか？ちょっと無理じゃないか。無理です。無理です。ここに座るのは。These chairs are so small, I don't think we'll be able to sit in them. Anyway, for the purposes of this class, これは私たちの教室です。これは私たちのバーチュアル、バチュアル、バチュアル、バチュアル、バチュアル教室です。Probably the most difficult part of Japanese for me is to use the gairaigo. Gairaigo are terms that come from foreign countries. For English, Japanese, virtual, virtual. I have to look it up actually and practice saying it. Virtual, 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 classroom. Usually if they're going to say virtual, oh man. You know what? I'm going to break. I think that this class has been so crazy. I'm going to just break with, I'm going to once again set up the, oh, my link is gone. This is I just tethered to my cell phone. これは何ですか？これはスマホです。携帯電話です。携帯電話。これは先生の携帯電話です。これは先生の携帯電話。And I'm going to tether to my mobile phone, my smaho. So bear with me while I tether. Okay, I have completed tethering. I have my mobile hotspot set up. And now I should momentarily see the name of my phone. There it is. And I'm connected. Okay, I want to go to the dictionary and I want to look up virtual. How to say virtual. My favorite dictionary is right here. It's called jisho.org. Jisho.org. Jisho means dictionary in Japanese. And I think it's very convenient to use. I like the soothing green colors. And now we're going to look up virtual, virtual, virtual. I can put almost, this is such, bacharu, 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 bacharu. I wonder if this has, let's see, the details. Maybe on the details. Oh, it doesn't have a recording. I don't know how to say this. I'm sure that some other software has the recording that would tell us how to say. But I can read it. It's ba cha ru, bacharu, bacharu, bacharu kyosu, bacharu kyosu. これは私たちのバーチャル教室です。Are there any other ways of saying virtual? Imagination. So no. Computer technology. Oh, okay. Virtual computer technology. Kasoteki. Kasoteki. Kasoteki na kyosutsu desu. Kasoteki na kyosutsu desu. Virtual memory. Kaso kyoku. Kaso kyoku. And you can see that the kanji is written here. And then above we have the furigana. Ka, so, kyo, ki, so, kyoku. Kaso kyoku. Kyoku. Kyoku means memory. Kaso means virtual. virtual memory. And I can see the details of this particular word combination. So we have the kanji in this word is a sham, temporary, interim. So virtual is a sham, huh? The kunyomi is kari, okay, kari. I use that word very often actually for temporary, something that's temporary. Kari desu. Kore wa kari desu. The onyomi, the Chinese reading, is ka or ke. Okay. Let's see. Let's look up oku because that one has. We can actually find the dictionary. It has 16 strokes and a heart radical. So this is the radical right here. The radical. This is a heart radical. It's shown right there. The radical. That's the classifier. So if I had nothing but kanji, the only way I can look up this word is by the classifier. Okay, and it has an animation even showing you how to write it. So this dictionary is really quite a nice dictionary. I really like it. Okay, it has a radical lookup. So if I don't know how to write a word, I just use the radical lookup. For example, let's find an example of a word that we want to look up. Let's go back to our slideshow. Let's say that we want to look up Nihongo no go. We want to look up Nihongo no go. Okay, Nihongo no go. So in Nihongo no go, what did you see? You saw the two squares down at the bottom. So let's just use those two squares first and see what happens. So we'll do the two squares. They have 3 strokes for the squares. So now that grays out, and here's all the words. So I want to do more. That allows me to scroll very easily. So I can go through here and find all those words. Oh my God, we'll never find the word we want. What's another component? Remember? How about the component for 5? Is 5 here? Actually, 5 I don't think is a component. So in the beginning, it's not easy to look up things by radical. What else was in there? There was a dot there, wasn't there? Let's see what happens. That narrows our field. However, it eliminates the word that we're looking for. So that's not a very good one, so I'll undo it. Okay, I just have to use my own knowledge. I know that the radical has it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 strokes in it. I thought it was 8. I may have miscounted. No, it's 7. 7, 7, 7. Where is it? 7. There it is, right there. Okay, now we have, and then I can count the remaining strokes in it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, okay, 7 plus 7 is 14. So here we have all these words that have this component. This is the speaking radical. It has to do with talking. So all of this has to do with talking. Where is our, oh, it's not here. Wait a minute. That's 7. Yes, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I forgot one of the boxes. So you can see that the process is not easy. Wait a minute. We're not fine. Let's just go ahead and tick off this one as well. Does that help? There it is with 14. Why wasn't I finding it before? Okay, so this is how you can narrow things down. I'm just curious why I just must have, there it is, right, the second one. If it had been a snake, it would have bit me. So it's a little bit of a detective work, especially in the beginning. I happen to know that this is the talk radical. It's one of the most popular radicals in the Japanese language. You'll see it in so many words as you've seen so far. I just take that away and look at that. I don't know how many of them, One of them has 30 strokes in it. Oh my God. With a little talk radical in the middle of the two silks. So you can see that some of these kanji are just ridiculous. Right here, this is the kanji for bay. The kanji for bay. So I want to, it's gone up here and I just hit the search and I'm going to look up bay. Okay. However, we look up, that is the old Chinese way of reading it. If I want to look up words with the kunyomi, there, that's the more common way of writing it. See the difference? If we look at this, so it's a long journey to learn Chinese. So here we have bei. Now this is with the stroke order in it. This is that's a water radical, those 3 dots. That's called a sanzui, 3 dots. Okay, and that's how you write bei. So now if you want to see, if you look at a map of Japan, you'll see Tokyo Bay. You should learn the way to write Tokyo. Variants. Here we have a variant. You see this variant here? That's the old way of writing it. And I believe in China you might have a different way of writing it. But it's all pronounced wan, no matter how it's written. The variant, I'm going to click on, and there's the variant. Okay. So that's our journey into jisho.org. Going back here, we were in our bachuru kyōshitsu. In our bachuru kyōshitsu. I'm going to have to, I do have many Japanese friends here. I live in an ashram in the south of India. It's quite a large ashram. It's called Amritapuri. Amritapuri, maybe some of you have heard of it. Right now we're in the midst of the COVID crisis, and there are about 2,500 of us living here. Half of us are foreigners and half of us are Indians. So it's quite a nice environment. I have many Japanese friends here. So this is our virtual classroom. これは私たちの教室です。私たちの教室です。じゃあ、この教室、それは教室です。So I can go through this and I can say, これは何ですか? 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 これはこれは日本です。これは日本です。これは日本です。Okay. これは日本の国旗です。これは日本の国旗です。Okay. 国旗。じゃあ、これは何ですか? これは何ですか? これは何ですか? この部屋の中に、これは教室ですね。まあ、いろいろな種類の教室があるんです。部屋がある。これは部屋の一つの例ですね。これは部屋の一つの例。This is an example of one room. This is a room. Room in Japanese is 部屋。この部屋の中に、in this 部屋、何がありますか? What is there? What is this? What is this? What is this? これは何ですか? これは物いっぱいあります。傘もありますですね。傘もあります。You wouldn't normally find umbrellas open in front of the teacher's desk, but in this room, it makes it very easy for us to talk. So we're going to be doing some talking on this page. For today, これではちょっと失礼します。失礼します。I'm going to leave you all for today. 今回の教室はどうでしたか? どうでしたか? 楽しかったでしょうか? 今回の教室はどうでしたか? How was the class this time? 楽しかったですか？楽しかったですか？ Was it fun? I hope so. Okay, see you next time. さようなら。さようなら。さようなら。